Hey everyone, welcome to The Squad. This is the Park Squad Pod, a podcast where four friends catch up and chat about all things Disney, day-to-day life, and more. My name is Tommy, and I'll be your host for today's episode. I'm here with the rest of the squad.
I'm Haley.
I'm Heidi.
And I'm Brandon.
Welcome to episode 4, Would You Rather Disney Parks Edition. That'll be our primary topic, but we have a little bit of a sort of a side thing to intro. Full disclosure, by the time you're listening to this, roughly 2 weeks has passed, so it might be a little bit outdated. But Brandon, Heidi, it seems like you had a fun night out last night. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we did. It was so fun. So, yeah, we went to Dancing with the Stars. They do like a live tour. So they were in a town near us. So we ended up going there for the live tour, and it was amazing. The actual show was incredible. And then we were those people who went and found the tour bus and waited for the people outside, like the cast.
Yeah, and this was something that I had seen on like on TikTok that people do this, and they could either maybe come out, they could not come out, one person could come out, or the whole group comes out and they kind of do like a hello, like we have to get on the bus and go.
Yeah, very different experiences based on obviously different locations that they're at, and then the fact that they're have to be moving to different cities and stuff. But we got so lucky because we literally met essentially
almost everybody.
Yeah, almost everyone was there.
Yeah, and it was honestly like for us, so I want to preface this by saying during the show we wanted to record lots because we're going to vlog the whole show.
Yeah.
And my phone all of a sudden went from 8 gigabytes of storage for photos up to 40. And my phone is 64 gigabytes. So I would be recording stuff and it would say no storage, manage, or not now. And my phone was just having the hardest ever time. So I said to Heidi, I don't know how we're going to have any room for pictures. Heidi's phone was going to die.
Yeah, my phone was almost dead because the battery was not having it. And then I was trying to film content as well, but my phone wasn't picking it up as well. And the pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? So then we ended up just stopping recording. Brandon was trying to delete a bunch of apps and stuff.
I deleted TikTok, I deleted Instagram and Facebook. I was deleting everything.
And it wasn't making a budge on his actual about storage area.
Nothing, not a dent.
So then whatever, we were whatever, we're just gonna close our phones and just take a minute because we need our phones for later, because what if we go and see people and we need to have a phone. So then we went outside. My phone was at 10%. Brandon's
I had 18. And we're hustling, we're coming around the corner, and then we see it's cold, and then we see this crowd by the buses,
really perfect.
And we're okay, perfect. And there was a lot of people, but we were still able to kind of get near the front where
we're tall.
Yeah, where there's people, but then we're directly behind the next people, and we're kind of waiting there. There's security and different things, and then the first person to come out was Xochitl Gomez.
Well, Daniela was there first.
Oh yeah, true, but she's yeah,
she was already around, but we didn't see her until after, and then I'm Danielle's literally right there. And then Xochitl comes out, and everyone's oh my gosh, obviously.
Yeah. And also for those who maybe aren't Dance with the Stars fans, Xochitl is one of the not the pros, one of the celebrities,
the winner,
who was in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Ooh. She was America Chavez.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then all of the pros came out and stuff. So we're kind of big into it as of the last 2 years. We've watched every episode and love it.
And
so
I
then
always go back and watch all the old seasons.
Yeah. And Heidi's kind of obsessed with some of the pros, which is fun. She loves them. So they all kind of just started trickling out, and it was
amazing.
Xochitl took time with every single person. She was answering FaceTime calls, recording videos, signing stuff. It was pretty wild. And then awesome. All of the pros just came, and we got pictures with every single one.
Well, almost everyone.
They loved,
because at some point there was multiple people kind of around, so you kind of had to pick and choose. But we got to see everyone,
and it was so cool. They loved how I was tall. That was a crazy, because all of them are so small because they're dancers.
They're all smaller than me pretty much.
So long story short, we were outside for 2 hours waiting.
Brandon's phone ended up surviving though. Which was so scary because the cold too uses up your battery. So my phone died pretty early on, and we were please don't die. But there were so many people that I would have just asked someone to take pictures for us and send them to me, because I'm not missing out on this moment.
But they were so nice. Honestly, it was one of the coolest experiences that we've had. It was so fun.
So we were out there till midnight, came home at 2. So we won't talk about it anymore, but it was amazing.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's a long night, but that sounds fun. Yeah, it's cool because like you said, once you sort of get to the show, all the regulars,
exactly,
professionals, but then the other group of people is other celebrities in other walks of life. So it's it's a win-win there. that's super cool.
No, that sounds perfect for you guys.
Yeah,
It
so
was
that's
fun.
kind of what's happening like in our life
Yeah.
is that weekend was like a big thing. But what about you guys? Like, what's been up with you guys?
Mhm.
We had a pretty chill weekend.
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
That's kind of been our MO lately, is
Yeah,
like laying
absolutely.
low. Like we talked about, I think, on the first episode, where like we're kind of in our anti-spending phase right
Right.
now because we spent
Yes.
2 years in Florida just acting like we were on vacation.
Yeah.
So we actually have like the Regal pass where you can go to like unlimited movies.
Yeah, Regal
Oh,
Unlimited.
that's
Yeah.
Well,
amazing.
that would make sense.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah. But so we ended up going to see Argyle yesterday.
Oh, how was
Okay.
it?
I mean, I was excited for it when like the previews came out because it looked like up my alley, kind of like a silly
Yeah.
like action movie. If you're expecting like a cinematic wonder, don't go probably. But it's like it is way sillier than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's definitely pretty silly. I think it is an Apple original. I think Apple bought the rights to it, so
Oh.
it'll be on Apple TV, Apple TV Plus, whatever that streaming service is called. I think it's worth,
A
whenever,
watch.
well, yeah, whenever it hits that streaming service, just chucking it on like a Sunday afternoon while you maybe do some cleaning or some laundry in the background. I think it's perfect for that. But yeah, like Haley said, didn't blow us away,
Yeah.
but it's not like I regretted spending 2 hours watching it.
No, but it was a little bit too long.
Yeah. I feel like most movies are now. I always feel like such an old crotchety man when I'm like, that movie's 20 minutes too long. But I really do feel that way so many times.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that like people are less apt to go watch longer movies now, where I feel like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 years ago, like people were willing to put 3 hours into
yeah.
like going and doing the whole experience.
Yeah.
So
And if it's
true.
something big, I'll sit down and get settled in. But yeah, most of the time it'd be really nice to, get in, get out 90 minutes later. But
Yeah.
whatever.
And then the only other thing, I've been just devouring reading. I started the
Nice.
ACOTAR
Nice.
series like a little over 2 weeks ago, and I'm about to finish the last one. So book 5. So
Cool.
That's awesome.
that's
Wow.
what I've been spending all my free time doing.
We have a
Love
reader
it.
on our hands.
We
Love
do.
it.
I also wanted to add this in here because part of our weekend was that we went like live and did like a ranking of animatronics. And for anyone who was on that live and is watching this, the shaman animatronic is not $1 billion. I got that very wrong. So don't take everything that I say always with like full fact, because I was way off and I have no other way to share this that I apologize that I was wrong. So here it is on the podcast.
You can always fact check all of us and just leave it down below, whatever we've gotten wrong.
Seriously. Like-
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that sort of segues us nicely. Like I mentioned off the top, this podcast is coming out roughly 2 weeks after it's being recorded. So the news that we're going to talk about now is almost 3 weeks old at this point. But still, there was an exciting announcement earlier this week. Universal of Orlando posted a 7-minute YouTube video preview of the Epic Universe, which will be opening in 2025. So I have a quick sort of template of the stuff that they discussed. And like Brandon mentioned with the $1 billion animatronic, I put together these notes from the video itself, as well as some TikToks that Haley sent me. So if there are anything I missed or any corrections, feel free to correct us down in the comments if you're on YouTube. Only if you're subscribed, though. If you're not subscribed,
If not, keep it to yourself.
yeah, keep it to yourself. But you can find us on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, the Park Squad Pod. You have to be following on one of those to complain. If not, scram, get out of here.
Or just subscribe or leave a review, and then you can complain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
5
like-
stars, please.
Exactly.
All right. So gonna sort of introduce everything as it was laid out in the video. The video kicks off with Mark Woodbury, who's the chairman and CEO of Universal Destinations and Experiences, which, to me just means parks. And I guess, I don't know. It's not like they do cruises, I don't think, but that doesn't really
No.
matter.
But
So-
maybe the hotels as well.
Yeah, maybe. So Epic Universe is a new park. It is the fourth park in Universal Orlando. So there's Universal Studios, Island of Adventure, and then their water park, which I believe is Volcano Bay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this will be the fourth one in Orlando. Consists of 5 worlds with 50 plus unique and compelling experiences. I think the use of experiences there is kind of funny. I'm interested to see kind of what form that takes, because
Yeah.
it's definitely not 50 rides. But if like dining is included in that, I think that probably makes sense. But 50 plus still a good number.
Yeah, we were talking about like, I don't know if like the churro cart will count as like an
Right.
experience.
Something like that. Or like a character meet and greet or something.
Exactly.
I think that's probably about right. I think anything you could find on a map is probably included
For sure.
in that list. You access the different worlds via portals, which is like a big part of this theme park. a couple interesting things they pointed out. It sounds like the addition of this park will almost double the size of Universal Orlando. I looked up the current size, and they have the size, at least where I found it, was 541 acres, which is roughly 0.85 square miles. For a quick point of reference, Animal Kingdom is 580 acres, but that includes all of the sort of safari, like Savannah lands, which is not really accessible to
Like walking.
attendance, obviously. And then Magic Kingdom is 140 acres, so roughly, 4 Magic Kingdoms maybe
That's
will be this
crazy.
addition. So definitely,
that is so
sizable.
wild.
I don't know.
Wow.
Like I know that we sent you guys a video, and like
Mhm.
I think that was the jarring part to me, is the size of it seems just huge.
Well, and also like I just like, and maybe we'll touch on this later, but I just think that this has like went so quick, and the building has been so fast, and they're getting this thing up like, to me, so quick. I don't know exactly when they like stuck their shovels in the ground, but it seems like this has just been rapidly moving forward, and it's so wild to me that it's that big and that we're getting it next year is so crazy.
I couldn't believe it. Like, I was a bit like, when I first watched the video, I thought it was like something that they're like saying like this is happening, and like over
Blue Sky.
time. Yeah, and like over time there'll be like, all these portals added, but it's like, no,
You're
this
getting
is
all
happening, and like it's happening like essentially now, and I'm just like, what? Like, that's crazy. That's just like putting up like 5 Magic Kingdoms at once and saying, here you go, and it's just like, what? Like, that's insane.
And that's what some of the TikToks that I sent Tommy today, it like the portals are up, like all of them are constructed, and they're just like adding in, like they're already test riding like rides and coasters. Like you can watch like drone footage of the coasters going through. So like, I agree. I think that it's like, it seems like it's going up incredibly quickly.
Yeah, I'm not intimately aware of the timeline, but I think, to sort of y'all's point, I think the rollout of this park has been really successful in kind of not showing things too early or not showing too little too early. And I'm kind of interested to see how that contrasts with D23 later this year. Because I think a lot of the expectations is that this is going to be sort of a
lights of fire.
Yeah, kind of a larger D23, and they're going to feel the need to sort of announce some things because we haven't gotten a ton of big concrete overhauls.
Seriously.
But
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, more to come on that later this year on this very podcast. So like I said, subscribe, stick around, and we'll catch back in a little while.
You want to tell us about the lands?
Yeah. I was going to say the last sort of thing that Mark touched on was that they're looking to make this a week-long park. So really looking to rival sort of Walt Disney World in Orlando, and make it so, you stay, you spend your week, and then you fly home. And it's not kind of like a 2-day thing like I think the conception of it currently is.
Yeah.
Yep. So get kicked off. The first thing they touched on is the park entrance, which is the first portal that you'll go through when you enter Epic Universe. It's called the Kronos. It's got a big clock on it, I think. And that will lead you into Celestial Park. So Celestial Park acts as like the hub world of Epic Universe a little bit. A line from the video that I really liked is that they put the park in theme park. So a lot of sort of emphasis on grass and water. And sort of like a Central Park sort of vibes there. But there'll also be 3 rides. The rides being Constellation Carousel, Astronomica, which seems kind of like a fountain splash pad, probably for a younger audience there, and as well as Starfall Racers, which is a dual launch coaster, which looks pretty cool. And then at the end of Celestial Park is the Helios Grand Hotel, which has 500 rooms and will be connected to the park in a way unlike any theme park in the world, they said in the video. So it sounds like it'll be probably different from what you see in Tokyo, Japan, or Disney World Tokyo, rather. So yeah, sort of anything stick out from that group? I think I was more impressed with this than I expected, but I'm curious to see what you all think.
Yeah, like I think this, to me, this seems like something that Disney would do, but now they're doing this. Like, I think the idea of all these kind of portals with like a central hub is a really good idea. Like genuinely just like super cool, unique, and different. And I do like how this kind of like area seems more that it's not like an IP thing, right? It's just like a general idea that they came up with, like to kind of connect everything. So I think it's kind of a cool premise to kind of get you like excited that there's all these portals. Here's like the main hub. I really do think it's a really cool like idea.
Yeah. I'm also interested to see like what like the resort or like hotel kind of thing looks like, because it's super cool, because like you're kind of describing there, Tommy, it's like so involved in the actual park that it like seems like you could just step outside and be in the park at any time. Like that's what it seems like. So I'm excited to see like what actually comes of it when it's like, you know, what it has to offer.
Yeah.
And I thought what was interesting is that when you like Kronos is the beginning of the park, and then Helios is like straight back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So instead of it being like a circular hub, the way that Disney, like Magic Kingdom is, where there's spokes,
Yep, like a wheel.
Yeah.
it is like kind of seems like it's like longer, like you said, like Central Park, like somewhere you can actually walk through, and then it kind of veers off from there. So I think it's interesting that this land is like the central, it's like the spine of it, and then it
Yeah.
branches off instead of it being like the circle, like the middle to the whole park.
Yeah,
If that makes sense, like circular.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it presents like a good break as well. It seems like there's going to be a lot of space and not necessarily overcrowded to say. So I think it could be a cool contrast to the sort of four worlds that we're going to talk about that are very much heavily themed, you know, a lot going on, things like that. So like we sort of talked about, you can, from Celestial Park, you can jump to any of the four different worlds via their own portals. The first world that they talked about was How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. Some things that they pointed out was flying with dragons, going on a Viking adventure, you know, really sort of hammering home the flying, soaring with dragons was a big part of the presentation. From one of those TikToks that Haley sent me, I was able to grab some rides. I think these are confirmed. I wasn't able to find like names on them, but there will be a Sky Flyer ride, which is you're kind of in a fixed seat and it spins you around in the sky. There's going to be a coaster, a boat ride, a stage show, and a Viking mead hall. So all of that sounds pretty cool. I don't know, Brandon, Heidi, are you big How to Train Your Dragon fans? I know it's a really popular movie series, but I don't know if it hits home over there.
At least, yeah, I liked it. I know it's kind of like now evolved. I wouldn't say like I know all of like, you know, all the things that it encompasses, but I remember the first movie like I really, really enjoyed. And I think that I'm excited for it. I'm interested to see like what the like flying with dragons part actually kind of is. It makes it seem like Pandora, which it's not going to be. And it's going to be not like that. So, but I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be something different. And again, I feel like it'll hit home with like little kids. Like I feel like it'll be really cool for them too.
Yeah, like I think on my end for me, because this is like a DreamWorks thing, right? Not like Illumination, because that's like Minions.
Yeah,
I think
it's a
Correct.
DreamWorks
Yeah,
movie.
it's DreamWorks. Yep.
yeah. So for me, like I loved like Shrek and Kung Fu Panda, those things more. So I think that was kind of maybe more my era. So this, I like know kind of some of the characters. I couldn't tell you what happens in any of the movies, but I think like any kind of cool like animated land I think is cool, and it's interesting how they chose this because like clearly people love it, because like to me, like out of all those, like I would have thought that like Shrek would have been the most like popular, but I guess maybe not with this kind of current
Maybe
age
they think
group.
it's too like outdated though. Like
Yeah.
I feel like Shrek is very huge amongst
And
Yeah.
I think that there's an animated series now. It's not just the
Okay.
movies.
Yeah, on
Yeah,
Netflix,
there
I
is.
think.
So I think that kids are still
Makes sense.
consuming How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
So like I loved that movie, and like clearly Heidi did growing up. And so
Yeah.
I think that it's like has new things developing throughout. Like you said, like I don't know any of the current storylines, but I know the beginning one. And it feels like that would be kind of like why they did that.
Yeah,
Because I
that
think
makes
I was surprised too at first, because I was like, that is such a bizarre movie to pick like a whole land around.
Yeah.
Even though I
Yeah.
was excited, but I do think that there's still new content coming out for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think also too, like what's kind of cool about this is like from all of the times that I've heard people talk about like this like resort, because like I've been before, but it was when I was in high school. Like I haven't been back there like in a long time. I think that people kind of knock it because there's lots of like screen like
So you mean
rides or
Universal in
simulators.
general,
Yes,
you're
in
talking
general.
Yeah.
Whereas I think this kind of is maybe going to change that for people, where it's like new different things, and maybe there's like more technology that they'll use for like more unique experiences. So I think it's kind of exciting that each land will be so different with like new different things to offer. I think will be cool.
Yeah, when they mentioned, like Heidi said, I think when they talked about flying with dragons a lot, my initial reaction off the bat was going to be, oh, screen heavy, you know, gaping that kind of flight of passage thing, trying to replicate that. But based on the sort of pictures and videos I've seen, it does
more
not
like
seem like that at
swings.
all. Yeah, it's almost more sort of classical amusement fair, sort of
Right.
state fair kind of rides where obviously a higher quality, but looking, at a real coaster, and outside the flyer ride is outside where you're kind of fixed, and it's almost like a pendulum that swings you around.
Right.
And I think some of the decor, because to your point, I don't know sort of where the story has gone, but I think the idea of a world where dragons and Vikings are living together harmoniously is kind of just an appealing setting that you can kind of put a lot of stuff around, almost like the existing Harry Potter worlds, and obviously we'll talk about that later, but kind of just like a cool setting to do whatever you want, because there is so much there. You can explore the dragon side, the Viking side, and then both. The next world that they talked about is maybe the most interesting to me, maybe not the one I'm most excited about, but the most interesting. It is the Dark Universe, which is based around the classic Universal monsters, like your Frankenstein monsters, your Creature of the Black Lagoon, your Werewolf Man. They mentioned it would contain classical monsters reimagined for the new age, so updated a little bit. This one I didn't have a ton on, except a few names of the rides. There will be the Curse of the Werewolf spinning coaster, so a roller coaster where the ride vehicle itself kind of rotates and spins. Almost like an Omni coaster. There will be an indoor ride, which is called Monsters Unchained: The Frankenstein Experiment. I think that the idea is going to be similar to the one in Hogwarts, where it kind of locks you in.
Yeah, the Journey Through Hogwarts or whatever it's called.
Journey Through Hogwarts, I think it's called. So similar to that. This was the coolest one, I thought. There's a restaurant called the Burning Blade Tavern, and the sort of primary focal point is a windmill that is always on fire. So that's kind of exciting. Any initial thoughts? I don't know. I don't think any of us are super into like scary or horror.
No.
I think this is going to be similar to like a Halloween Horror Nights, but sort of
what
is the the interest around the table?
That's what I was going to say, is I think that like Halloween Horror Nights is like, I think it's like the most attended Halloween event in the world.
Yeah.
I may fact check me. That might be wrong, but but I think that like there's a huge need for it. I think that even Disney was looking at that when they were talking about doing like the villain era, like the villain portion of the park. So I think that there's a huge gap in theme parks where it doesn't have like the spooky, darker side of everything. Like everything's kind of like light and bright and happy. And I think there's a ton of people who would like it. It might not be the four of us necessarily. Like that might not be our first choice, but
it's gonna have to be, for research purposes.
No, I think it'll be cool. I think I like that Universal has things that like are obviously all IP is their original ideas, but I think that stuff that they make specifically for parks and stuff like that is cool. And I think this will have a lot of that.
Yeah, I personally am actually really excited for this because I don't like movies and things like that. Like
that are horror
movies. Yeah, like scary movies, do not like them at all. But like we have like our local place here that does like Halloween, like
Canada's Wonderland.
Yeah, Canada's Wonderland. They do like haunted houses and things like that. And I feel like as I've become older, I've really, really liked those things more. And I still feel like this is a cool addition because like I know that there's people out there who like love Halloween and love being scared. And so to be able to access something like that, like all year round is so fun. And to be able to kind of like go through a portal and it's just like going to be all like that. I'm really excited to see kind of what it feels like. Like, I think it'll be really cool.
Yeah, this is one of those things. I'm like a big baby. Like genuinely, we went to that Halloween haunt.
And I had to go buy it was Brandon and my friend, and it wasn't even the full things at that point.
It's like the scare zones that you have to walk through to get to certain places. And I had
to go by myself to access some of them because nobody would come with me.
So I don't know between the two of you who's like the most afraid, but I feel like if the four of us go, that me and Haley will be like a Shaggy and Scooby, like a points, like we're gonna have to like hold each other and carry each other through.
That will get us in there.
Yeah. So I think like my thing of this, I think that it's very cool how Universal can easily do this. I think from what I saw online when Disney talked about like the villains thing, that apparently like families were polled if this would be something that they'd be interested in. And it was like 88% of families said that they shouldn't do it, which like to me like is unfortunate because I think that like a villains area would be so cool. And like you said, Haley, is like a gap because it's not necessarily like horror scary. It's just like these misunderstood is what they say characters who people still love. People love the villains.
Most of the Disney villains have like an underlying okay streak.
Yes.
Like there is only a couple villains that are like really truly evil.
Yeah.
And the rest are just like they just have separate tasks that they want done. Like they just want different things, and so they're made to be villains because they have to be opposing to the hero.
So I think this will be cool and is a good market for Universal because, like you said, Haley, they're so successful with Horror Nights that it's like a big thing for them. And I think like having this all year round will be really cool. And it's like the classic thing, which I think appeals to lots of different people. Like older people will love this because it's those classic monsters that like they love. And I think that they have lots of potential with like these characters kind of like roaming around or on the rides could be scary. Like I think that it's going to be a very cool, unique thing that maybe isn't for me. I will do it because we are gonna we're gonna have to like all of us go one time, do like a research,
Stay
like
at
Tommy said.
Helios.
Stay at Helios and do the whole thing. So I will do it, but I'm gonna have to be carried in like Scooby-Doo.
I don't think it will be scary. Like Halloween Horror Nights is terrifying
Scary,
because it's dark. They do it on purpose where they like put all the fog. I don't think this land will be scary. I think it will just be like the essence of the villain. Like not even villains. They're the horror characters. But in like you get to enjoy it from afar. Nobody is going to be chasing you with a chainsaw like in Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I'm interested to see what they end up doing when they refer to like reimagined and what kind of balance they strike. I think they definitely do want to make it on the scarier side, and I think in the current year, your Frankenstein, your Mummy, your Creature from the Black Lagoon is not very scary. I think that
but those houses do well at Horror Nights.
Yeah, they do well. But yeah, like to your point, I think if there's a Frankenstein walking around, I don't know if that will achieve sort of the desired effect from people looking to replicate the Halloween Horror Nights feeling. So I don't know if they would do like a split hours thing where during the day it's a little bit on the spookier side, and then after a sort of a dark universe after dark,
scary.
Yeah, it goes a little bit scarier and gets more in your face because Halloween Horror Nights does really lean into sort of visceral and in your face and intense,
but also
which is not very approachable to a standard audience. It has to be a more specialized ticket that people are
that's what I was going to say. If you're Universal, I don't think you want to create Halloween Horror Nights vibes at all because you still want people buying that ticketed event. So I think you do have, and obviously I don't know any of this. This is just speculation. I think you do have Frankenstein walking around like chatting with you, grunting at you, and like the Bride of Frankenstein like gathering him, like kind of like a more approach, like the way that they have them in the parks now is that they're much friendlier at Universal. Because if I'm a Universal rep trying to make as much money as I can, I'm not giving you a Halloween Horror Nights experience without you purchasing a Halloween Horror Nights ticket.
Yeah, I guess my only point would just be like, at a certain point, what kind of is the draw, especially compared to the three other worlds branching off of Celestial Park?
It's what people love. They love that old schooly, those original villains from Universal.
Yeah.
You might not,
maybe they
but
do.
Other people do.
I don't know if they do. But I guess we'll find out. And
we'll bet on it now, and we'll see in 2025.
Probably know a little bit more than I do, but definitely curious to see how that one ends up. I think it could be really cool, but like I said, just to be determined on kind of where they land on the spooky spectrum. The next one I think is probably, I don't know, maybe the biggest. It definitely had the least amount of information from what I could see, but it is a new part and is a new world. It's the third part of the Wizarding World trilogy. So it's an addition to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It'll be the Ministry of Magic. It'll be split between 1920s Paris from Fantastic Beasts. I think it's specifically the second movie. I don't know, Crimes of Grindelwald. I don't know if that's the second or third one. I don't remember how those lay out, but I think the second one is when they're in Paris. Not like it really matters. And then the British Ministry of Magic, primarily seen obviously in the Harry Potter movies. I think movies 5 through 7 part 2, I think is, the first time you see it in 5, and they showed a lot more. So yeah, those would be the sort of the primary areas. The ride was kind of hyped up in the video. I know one of the creatives, Molly something, was like, oh, the ride, like it has to be a surprise. So it sounds like they're trying to do something big. I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I did see in one of the TikToks that the idea is that is a ride through the Flu Network to sort of view a battle in the Ministry of Magic. Obviously, the big battle would be the one at the end of the Order of the Phoenix between Dumbledore and Voldemort. I would be, based on that description, like I said, I don't know if that's accurate, if it's speculation. Awesome. It sounds like they could do something similar to the existing Escape from Gringotts ride, where it's kind of roller coaster, and then they throw you in front of a screen and show, some snippets of, live action actors and action there, and then some fun roller coaster portions, and sort of doing that using the Flu Network as the roller coaster
Transportation
sections.
part.
Yeah, but Haley, as sort of the resident Harry Potter fan, at least on this side of the podcast, general thoughts. Is this kind of the direction you'd want them to go? Obviously, they covered a lot of bases in sort of the initial two parks, but sort of thoughts on.
Yeah, I think
this
that's the
excitement
way
levels?
you have to go, because like you said, like I think that like in Universal that's already existing, they did so much there. Like you have the school, and you have like Hagrid's, and you have what's it called, Hogsmeade and stuff, which looks great.
Yeah.
But I think that this, first, I want it to be more like Diagon Alley is, where like the stores are actually storefronts, where Hogsmeade, there's a lot that I feel like is just for looks. And I wish that you could go in all of them. But I think I'm excited. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I kind of fell off on Fantastic Beasts.
Because those movies stink.
Hey, let's not isolate ourselves here from some of our audience. But I think that it'll be interesting. I think it gives you new characters, new creatures, which I think is like a huge push there. I think you can do really fun like merch, and like having like Newt and stuff be like a meet and greet. I think that's another interesting part. And the one TikTok I saw, it was like talking about the ride going through like the Ministry of Magic, and he's like, I just want a Avada Kedavra, Dolores Umbridge. That's all I'm going for. I was like, I can get on board with that, but I'm excited, but I have no idea what to expect. Like you said, this one had the least amount of information, but I think it doesn't need as much information to get the hype up, because the Harry Potter fans are real.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you guys? I don't know your opinions on Harry Potter.
Yeah, we're not like super Harry Potter fans. I have like watched all the movies like once through. I did like a movie marathon like some years ago now, I guess. So it actually has been some time, maybe like 7 years ago. I watched them all once.
But we talked about this, like rewatching them in order. We want to do that very badly.
And then we saw like, I saw like all the Fantastic.
I think I've seen like all of them except for the newest one.
I thought we went and saw that.
No, I didn't go see it.
Did I see it?
Yeah, I think that
I
you went with somebody. I didn't go see it.
Who I saw with, but I saw all of them. I really like I feel like if I grew up and had read the books, then I would like really love it. Like as a young reader when I read, I feel like I would have really loved it. And same thing watching the movies. I remember the joke as a kid was, it was my brother's birthday and they went to see Harry Potter, and I really, really wanted to go, and I was little, and I just went. And my mom was like, fine, you can go. And I just slept the whole time. So then my whole life, I was like, oh, I don't like Harry Potter because I fell asleep in the movie. But I do like it. I see the draw. I feel like I'd be excited to go, but I'm not like, I don't know everything about Harry Potter.
No, like, and I don't either. But like as a kid, I loved Harry Potter. I loved all the movies. For Halloween 2 years in a row, when is Harry Potter? Like I
feel like I
loved
back.
Wow. I loved Harry Potter. But I think as an adult, I don't know like what it was about it that I just, like, it's not one of those things that I like love as an adult. And I don't know if it's because I haven't like rewatched all the movies. I think that if I did, I would be really into it. But I know like I went the year that they opened up the first Harry Potter area, like at Islands of Adventure. Like, and it was so cool. Like the ride that was through like the castle was awesome. Like at that time, I loved it so much. So I would love to go back and see like all of this stuff. I think like if we rewatch all the movies, that we'll have a great time. And I would love to know more about it. I think that's like a land that like, this is one of those IPs that people love. And it's so cool to see it in person. Like, to me, this is what I wish almost that like Avengers Campus would be more like in depth as a Harry Potter, because Marvel is also something that people love. So I think that like the Harry Potter stuff is kind of on the level as like a Star Wars, where like Galaxy's Edge is awesome and in depth. So I think that this just having like a third area for that is really cool.
Have you guys read the books?
No.
I,
as a kid, read some of the books.
You should read them.
Yeah,
I think before you watch them, you should try to,
Yeah,
because the books I think are the reason why older millennials and older Gen Z love Harry Potter, because they grew up reading the books and they're so much more in depth than the movies. Yeah. And the movies are great, but the books are phenomenal.
I could see that. Maybe when I graduate, I will read.
Yeah, when you have a little bit of free time on your hands.
No.
Right now, whenever I try to read, I'm like, no, it's not happening. My brain's too fried.
I just wanted to add one thing is like the lady that you're talking about, she's the one in like the pink outfit. Cannot stand that woman.
The one with all the cat plates.
I remember watching those, and I I have never wanted, I think, a character in a movie to be gone so bad. I'm trying to think on like the same level of
That's
who
what makes her
No,
so
would
good.
also be
all time hateable. Yeah,
all-time
it's
hateable
crazy.
villain like person for sure. So
You
I
hear
would
her
love.
voice, and it's like, ugh,
And it's
Ugh.
like that in the book, and then the actress
yes,
just like knocks it
nailed
out
it.
of the park.
Yeah, like I'm trying
Is
to think who
phenomenal
else
at
is
being
on
unlikable.
like on that level to me is like a President Snow in Hunger Games. Can't stand them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like I
I
think
think
that
it's the same
she's
thing because it's like that pleasantries as well. Like they're not just like
yeah,
a bad. They are not like forward facing bad, but
yeah,
then they're horrible.
horrible. So I'm excited, all that being said about it, because I think that it adds more to the story for people who love it. I think it'll be cool. Like Tommy said, I don't know anything about Fantastic Beasts, and maybe it's because I didn't like enjoy them or don't connect with them. But I think it is cool, I guess, for those fans, even if they're small but mighty, to have some like Fantastic Beast stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I don't love those movies. I like the first one. I think the second two trail off, but I do think they do a really effective job of opening the world up a little bit more. And
Mhm.
that's kind of the primary point I'm excited about is the 1920s Paris setting. I think,
Yeah.
like Haley mentioned off the top, it would be more similar to Diagon Alley, which is kind of just a cool space with shops and restaurants and things to do. And then you just have that extra bit of magic, pun intended, from the Harry Potter drapings and stuff like that. So I think it'd be really cool. I know street performances are and like street markets are a big part of that movie, so I'd expect them to incorporate a lot of that. So I think it will be really cool, and I think it'll be pretty different from the existing ones because it is a little bit more removed from that core set of Harry Potter movies.
Before we go on, I wanted to just say, like Brandon, like you said, like Avengers Campus.
Yeah.
I think it's hard because it encompasses so much of Marvel. Like there's so
That's
many
fair.
different places where like in Harry Potter, there's like one main street that everybody goes to the same stores and they frequent the same. I feel like Avengers Campus would have to just, and I think that they should do it, but I think they would have to like create a different universe that only exists there. Like
Yeah.
this
That's
person
fair.
from the world started this shop.
Yeah.
This person has this place. And so I think that that's what's hard is that
That's
it
true.
isn't cohesive because each movie or person exists in like a different universe kind of.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Potter, right? Like 6 of the 7 books take place in the same castle, which
Right.
is connected to Hogsmeade, which and they
True.
go to Diagon Alley, and also the familiarity level with the
Mhm.
specific locations is a lot higher for sure.
That's true. Like I think that maybe we'll like kind of touch on it after like of D23 maybe briefly, but like I think that if they like an Avengers Campus had that like ride that they talked about, like this big Thanos thing, like that's all that you need. Like that's
Yeah.
all that I'm asking for is some big heavy hitting thing, even if like you said, like the land can't be like in
And I
depth
think
like
you'll
Harry
feel
Potter,
the
but
same way once we go to DCA.
for sure.
It
Yeah.
is lacking something.
For sure.
All right, into the final, last but not least. This is definitely the one I'm, the most personally excited for. It is Super Nintendo World. This is the Universal Orlando edition. There are already existing Nintendo Worlds in Tokyo and California. The characters they highlighted in the video were Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and Donkey Kong, which is Orlando specific. We can get a little bit more in depth about that later. Some things they highlighted were the interactive elements around the world. The power-up band is still expected to be a big part of this. Punching blocks, collecting coins, playing games around the park, which I think is a neat way to sort of drive interaction throughout the world. This one will have some familiar elements as the other parks, such as the Mario Kart ride, the Yoshi's Island sort of family ride. It's like a slower, trek around the park a little bit, as well as Toad Cafe is the primary eatery. But the big one, and I think maybe the one that we'll go the most in depth in, unless we want to talk about the other three, is the Donkey Kong coaster. I believe the name is Minecart Madness. And the sort of big hallmark of this, the new technology that it's premiering, is that it's a dual track roller coaster with one track on top of another. So it allows for the top track, the one that your ride vehicle is on, to break away, like in the Donkey Kong games. If you're not familiar, it's like you jump over gaps in the mine carts while it's still connected underneath to give the impression of jumping carts, like a roller coaster tycoon or something like that, without obviously having to risk
Jump
your
a track.
life. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
put your life
Thoughts
at risk.
that I like Nintendo a lot. I'm excited for it to be a little bit more represented in the areas we frequent when we go on vacations in Orlando, but also obviously very excited about the Donkey Kong coaster as sort of a seminal piece of roller coaster technology that we haven't really seen before.
But Brandon, you had some big feelings over there.
I am a huge growing up, I loved like Nintendo, and I still do, but I was like a big Nintendo kid. I was like played the old consoles. I remember getting like the GameCube for the first time, and I was like stunned by it. I loved it so much. I played like Mario Kart, like what's it called? Double Dash all the time, like all those kind of old games. And then even now, like we play like the Switch often, like, and I love Mario Party, Mario Kart, all those things. I just feel like I'm very connected to these characters and this like IP so much, and I think that this is something with like the technology of that Donkey Kong ride, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, here more in depth, like you said. I think that is so cool and is just something that I wish, like, again, bring it back to Disney. Like, Disney should be doing stuff like this. Like, this is so cool how it's like, it's going to be so related to the game. Like, hopping at like a track, like, and the feeling of that you're still connected, but your ride vehicle looks like it's like lifting off of the track is so cool. And I think like the theming is next level. I love the characters, and I won't talk forever on it because I could. I just think that it's so cool, and I'm the most excited about this, even though it is in other places. But I think this land specifically here, like Tommy said, will be more in depth and have more, because I have heard like the Mario Kart ride is kind of underwhelming to most people because it's kind of a slower screen-based thing. But I think that this like minecart thing will be the biggest draw and the most like hype thing about the whole land.
Yeah, I don't have as much passion for this, but I'm still excited. Growing up, like I wasn't like a video game person. I'm still not like a video game person, but if I did have to pick one video game, it would be like
The Mario series.
Yeah, Mario series. Like that's really essentially all I like to take part in.
That's childhood to me.
Yeah, it's childhood, and I think that there's a lot of people that it is their childhood. I know even like my brother, like my older brother, my brothers, they're kind of in the same boat where I think that they would love to go to a place like this.
Yeah.
So I think it's very cool, and I love how like the whole world just looks like you're in the video game. Like that's
really
so
does.
cool. It's so immersive. So I think it's going to be super cool to get to go to. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I was definitely a Mario kid because I was a Nintendo kid. I was blowing in those cartridges, trying to get them to fix all of the problems that was wrong with them. But yeah, growing up, my family was a big N64 family. That's what we played every morning.
Oh yeah.
But so I'm super excited, and I'm glad that there's something different coming to Orlando. I'm glad we're getting the Donkey Kong ride. I think that'll be awesome. I think that this one's like the easiest to not touch on a bunch because we've seen it. Like if you've seen anything from Disney or Universal Hollywood or Japan, I think that it really is the same thing. But I'm glad that this isn't just one land. Like I'm glad this is a land in a new park, because I think that like obviously getting in, like watching people try and get in and like the reservations and things like that when they are going to Universal Hollywood, it's such a big to do. Like you have to get there early. You've got to like put in for Toadstool Cafe at like 10 a.m. or else you're not going to get it. Like you might be eating like a spicy meatball marinara at 9:45 in the morning, but if you don't eat it now, then you never eat it at all. And I think that it being here gives you an opportunity, like you said, that they wanted to make this a multi-day park. I think that it gives an opportunity to it not feel like it's missing something because there's not enough to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I think a standalone park, it's not enough, but one piece of a bigger park, I think it's great.
Yeah. And I know one thing that always comes across in the videos from California is that it seems really congested and cramped and kind of almost overwhelming. And I think part of that is unavoidable due to the immersion that they're trying to build. And in order to get that, you kind of have to close in and build up a little bit so that you can't see the outside world. But I think that the size of this development alone should allow them some opportunity to space things out a little bit and, you know, like you said, provide a little bit of breathing room and more space for activities and things like that. Yeah, I was a latecomer to the Nintendo world. I was always sort of looking from the outside in, going over to friend's house and playing their GameCube over there. But I finally got my hands on it and quickly, even as a young adult, really understood why it has its hooks in so many people and has for so long, because the characters are really enjoyable to be around.
So cute.
Yeah, and when you
so good
breaking edge technology, cute. It's definitely something I'm really, really looking forward to.
I also wanted to add, who's like your go-to favorite of the Mario universe characters? Just like, who do you like? Are you like?
Oh, you're always.
I like Waluigi and Wario.
Yeah.
A lot. I think they're so funny. Yeah, I think they're so funny. I know that they are lower on the representation to a lot of people's chagrin, but I do find them very, very funny.
I'm
funny.
a true 90s girl, and I'm always Princess Peach.
Love it.
I'm Toad. I
You're a
like
Toad girl.
Yeah.
I'm a Yoshi Donkey Kong guy. So
Yeah.
this Orlando land's gonna be
We
great
can all
for
get
me.
a different power-up band.
Yeah, we can get our different
Yes.
power.
We don't have to fight with favorite
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe if we go there in like
When?
California, are we going? Confirmed?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I think that's the
we're
plan.
down.
Yeah,
Hey,
you got to
should.
check it out
I'm-
there.
I'm down. I gotta get me like one of those
I want to
bands
do
and I'll be in there.
everything.
I'll be going like this. Da-ding.
That'll be fun.
But I think that what you said too, like based on the specs, like what they're saying, how big this land is,
Mhm.
for it to be like what 4 Magic Kingdoms, you said.
Yeah, well, Magic Kingdom is 140 acres.
And what is this one?
And this
This
is
whole park, yeah.
yeah, Universal currently is I think 550, and it's expected
This
to
is doubling
nearly
that.
double. So I don't know, roughly 500. So
So
a little bit less
each
than 4.
land is going to be roughly the size of Magic Kingdom if you're thinking about it in that way, unless they're including parking and things like that. But it does give so much more space. Like California, Anaheim, I don't even know if that's where, I don't know where Universal Hollywood is.
I think it's in Hollywood.
Hollywood,
Hollywood,
that would
yeah,
make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. It's
But
connected to the
there's no
state.
space in California. Like there's no space near LA. And so, and Universal, all they have is space, or Orlando, all they have is space. So I think that it will be nice and spread out. And then what you were saying, like about how immersive it is, I was going to touch on this just about the whole Epic universe. I really hope that they continue doing what Universal does well, where they hide each land. Like
Yeah.
when you're walking over the bridge from like Harry Potter into Jurassic Park, you see the Jurassic Park sign, and then it's just like forest. It's just big plants. And then when you walk in, you're immersed. And so I'm hoping that from that main celestial park, you can't see, other than obviously like loops of roller
Tracks
coasters and
there,
things,
Yeah.
that you can't see the theming, because then
Yeah.
the portals make sense. Otherwise, the portals are just there for decoration and it's like a walkway in. But I think if they're like really hidden the way that like it looks like Nintendo Land is hidden in this, like looking at the construction, I hope that that's how they all are, that they're all like
Agreed.
super immersive when you walk in. It's like a new land.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit pre-pod. I don't love the whole portal things. Like in the video, there's a clip of
Hater.
Steven Spielberg being like, "You walk through a portal into a different world," and it's just like, I don't know. It reads kind of like corny, but to Haley's point, if it is just a means of really segmenting the different worlds of the park, I'll totally eat my words and be the biggest portal fan on the planet.
We'll make some more merch.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah. I was gonna
Number
say,
one
Tommy
Number
will
one
need a
portal fan.
picture like in front of each portal. Tommy's gonna say the portals is the highlight of this whole park.
Yeah, the best part. I love the portals now.
Yeah.
Oh, but it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I think that whenever the release date is, I think the 4 of us should definitely try and plan a trip
Agree.
down to see it. I think it'll be awesome. I think staying at the hotel will be worth it, even if it's just for a night. I'm sure it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
that if you, like Heidi said, if you can just walk out and be in the park, that would be
Crazy.
Okay.
awesome.
Splitsies, we'll just split it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Split it 4 ways, that'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Tommy.
No, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say really excited. Yeah. Any,
Yeah, like-
any closing thoughts, kind of? Yeah.
I just think to kind of touch on like the Disney like angle of this, about people were saying like on the day that this came out, like Disney announced like some new firework nighttime show in Tokyo, and they're like, this is what you announced, which I don't think was like a planned thing. I don't think that was like, oh, we're gonna really get an Epic Universe with our Tokyo
clap back,
firework
yeah.
show. But I think though now this has put so much pressure on D23. Like
It
I
has
think
to.
I think that Disney fans are like, okay, this is what Universal did. What are you doing? I don't think it's going to be a 5th park. I don't think it'll be that level. I mean, maybe that it could be, but I think that they need to have some things that are concrete. Shovels are going to be in the ground. We're doing this and we're doing it soon, or else people I think are going to be
People
even
will
more
revolt.
down on Disney. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, okay, then we're just going to go to Universal. And
I think
yeah,
I was just going to add to that. I think that Universal was a 2-day park.
yes.
The minute that it becomes a 5-day park, it puts Disney, it gives it a run for its money in Universal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the line in the video about it becoming a week-long sort of vacation destination is a shot across the bow.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, while Disney World has really not monopolized, but had a stranglehold on Orlando tourism,
Mhm.
with the other parks in the area just being sort of a sideshow to, give you a break from the Disney rush and, maybe buy a cheaper ticket or something like that. Where
And
this
it's
is,
not, well, it's not even cheaper anymore.
Yeah.
That's why we don't go.
Yeah, but
No,
yeah,
yeah.
this is definitely sort of throwing the gauntlet down and saying, they're challenging the Walt Disney World supremacy, for the premier destination in the
But I
United
think
States,
that
really.
that's how you get better stuff. You have to
agree.
have a competitor or else you just get complacent. And so now it's Disney's turn to throw on those gloves and get back in the ring.
Yeah, and I just think that it's kind of one of those things, like I mentioned before, of the time frame. Like certain things, like Tron took how many years, and I understand that like the pandemic happened, but like Walt Disney World to get like a Figment meet and greet took a whole year.
I mean,
There's
think
just
about
things-
Moana Journey into Water.
Journey of Water. And then I think people then were kind of like underwhelmed about it. So I just think like on that angle, like stuff's gonna come out like if they do like an Encanto and stuff, but like Encanto like was popular like before. Maybe it's
They're
still
gonna
at the
miss
same
their
level,
window.
but I think that you're missing the window exactly. Like, and I think certain brands like a Frozen is still super popular, but all these things that they see, like we have a hit on our hands. If you don't capitalize on it, I think then it kind of maybe passes its time. So I'm interested to see. Like, I think that it's going to be a big expo, and I hope that it is.
And I
Fingers
think that
crossed.
like Epic Universe isn't anything new. Like we were
No.
talking like How to Train Your Dragon came out like forever ago.
Yeah.
And so I think
The
that like
monsters are like 100 years old.
correct. And yeah, even when they were new, they were old.
Yeah.
And like I mean
Mary
the
Shelley's
book of
Frankenstein, yeah,
exactly,
like, really
exactly.
1600s.
But I think that like they can do that with it when it's a park, but adding like taking away Dino Land, like you said, and adding Encanto, like you better get on it. Like
Yeah.
Well,
you've got to
and-
get that ball rolling.
Yeah, like, and I don't know if it's I don't know if like maybe because Universal doesn't have the history and the lore of all these old like attractions, but I think people are so nostalgic for Disney that they want Disney to go back to kind of like at Epcot, they want like the universe of energy and Body Wars and all these things to come back, but it's like
They're gone for a reason.
yeah. So I just think that we got to have some things, like I said, of like that like multiversal Thanos thing,
We need
like huge.
We need more
We
Guardians.
need
More
more
Gar-
Guardians
yes,
level
Agreed, yeah.
stuff.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's got to be big stuff that people love and things that kind of push the boundary where like Guardians, like that coaster is unique
Well,
and different.
And the thing about Guardians is like you don't have to be a Marvel fan to
enjoy
love
Mhm.
Guardians. Like
Mhm.
so it's like rides like that where it's like, yeah, there's like a connection to rides for people who like them, or a connection to movies, sorry, that if people like them, but then there's also just an amazing ride that regardless of if it was Guardians, it would still be like an exceptional ride.
So
And clearly people like IP themed rides because this whole park
Yeah.
is IP themed lands
Yeah.
that's coming out. So like I think that I get the nostalgia factor, but it doesn't keep the youngins coming back. Like you're not giving the kids anything to be nostalgic about now if you
Right.
don't create new things that really hone to their likes.
It's
Yeah.
true.
So let's hope that we get something like announcements, and because like I'm just gonna laugh at this of like at the expo when they go, you want to meet the Hulk at DCA, he'll be there tomorrow, and then at Disney World it's like, oh, like you can meet
You want to
like
meet Figment that you could
Figment.
meet 80 years ago? Well,
Yeah.
he'll be there in a year and a half.
It's just I don't know. And again, I love Disney, and I hope that they come back with some good stuff. And I'm excited for us who are are going to go to the expo, that we'll have some good
Yeah.
stuff to hopefully talk
We
about.
sound like Universal people. We are not. We
No,
are definitely
no, yeah.
Disney people, but
Yeah.
I do think that like it's you have to hold the people you you love accountable. So
And it
Disney, this
changes
is
the
us.
game. Yeah, it
doing
changes
it.
the game.
We love you. We love you, Disney.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah. I'm going to be
nonetheless.
employed by Disney once
But
again.
get it together.
Yeah, nonetheless, exciting stuff coming out of Universal, but definitely curious to see how if Disney responds
They've
this
got to.
August at D23, and we'll be there on the ground, boots on the ground, reporting live as it happens. So stay tuned, stick around, stick with the squad, and we will have our reactions when the time comes for those impending announcements as well. Hopefully, similar level of excitement for that. But that was, I think that was really good.
No, I loved that
yeah.
was
I love
was
it. Good discussion.
it was more interesting than I thought it was. Like it was more in depth than I thought it was going to be, which I enjoyed.
Absolutely.
But now we can get into the
Yeah.
actual
and now we can transition into
title of this
the
podcast.
the actual topic for today. We're going to be doing Disney parks. See, we love Disney. Disney parks. Would you rather's? I think we all put together 2 or 3, and I think we can just go round robin. Share our would you rather's, get everyone's opinions, maybe get into an argument about which one's better, and then keep it moving for a little bit. I don't know where we want to start. Does anyone
Throw
have
it to
one
that
they're-
side,
Yeah,
throw it to
they're really
Canada?
passionate about. They want to kick off with.
Heidi said she had good ones.
Yeah, ladies first.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like mine are. I don't know how specific people want. Mine are. I try to think outside the box. I don't know.
No, that's
Well,
perfect.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
Yeah, I tried
Okay.
and probably failed to do that. So
Okay, so my first question for the squad is, it's about merchandise.
Okay.
Ooh.
So would you
We
rather?
all love our merch.
Yeah, and this question does not include Disney clothes. So you can continue to wear Disney clothes, get Disney clothes, but would you rather only get Disney pins as your merch, or any other Disney merch? So either Disney pins is your option versus any other merch for the rest of your life. You can continue to keep the merch that you currently have in your home, but if you go to the parks like the next time, you can only buy pins or you can buy only other merch. So what would you rather do?
I don't know if this is going to be as hard for Haley and Tommy. I think maybe not at all. For me, it's hard.
Yeah, I feel like this
I-
question was for Brandon.
I love pins a lot. So this is kind of hard. I think though I will pick other merch because I
Really?
think the possibilities are kind of endless, and then it's just an excuse for me to get things that I maybe don't need to get, like a plush or something.
You love a plush.
And I can just say, well, Heidi, I can't get pins, so I have to get these plushies or something. I don't know. I just think that there's more potential, even though that's so hard because like we have 3 binders full
Yeah.
of pins.
And then that means you can't pin trade.
Oh, yeah. Dang.
But you get to keep the merch you have, you said.
Yeah, you can
So
keep
you
them
but
there.
could
it's like
trade
trading
just
for a new pin. No, you can't trade for new
infinitely.
pins.
You can't?
It'd be new
No.
to you. There's no way.
Yeah,
No,
you can't.
No way.
Pin trading's
Okay.
included.
I will forego, which might be
Pins?
shocking, the pins.
I'm
Wow.
shocked by that.
Eeh.
Yeah, I'm
Stuff
in the
like-
same boat. I'm definitely going other merch. I love my Loungefly backpacks. We love a Tervis tumbler.
Oh, I
And
didn't even think
so
about those.
that's like what most of our merch is. So I think that, and you guys got us into pin trading like back during the pandemic
Yeah.
days.
So that if
Um,
we can't do it, then you won't want to do it either.
No, you're the only reason that we do it. Tommy's like, he's like, I love all of you. And he's like, I don't want to pin trade. And I was like, well, too bad we do.
Yeah. If the squad wants to pin trade, I'll pin trade. But if it was just me, I would probably be pin trade.
No, he's never looked at a pin board on his own in his life.
Yeah. I think this one is a little bit tough, but the thing with pins is that there are some pins that I like really, really love and will keep, and I'll be buried with them because I think that they're the best. But they're always, whenever I buy a pin, there is like a
Buyer's
know.
remorse.
like a 25% chance that
That's
in
fair.
a week I'm like, what was I thinking? Like when I see it in person, I'm like, this is a cool pin, and then like it's still there the next year, and I was like, oh wow, I definitely didn't need to rush and buy that pin last year.
but that's like
for no
80%
reason.
of our Disney purchases.
Yeah, occasionally, but like
other
like,
than clothes,
I don't
I
know.
feel like we look back like at the, I don't know, we just moved, so 15 boxes of Disney things that we moved, and we were like, what were we doing?
yeah, definitely like the figurines and stuff like that, or like the Funkos. I'm like, what were we thinking?
I think
But-
that collectively we've gotten all better. At
Yeah.
this.
Oh
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's a sign of
We
maturity.
could only go up, but we all definitely did get better.
Heidi, what would? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, the Tervis tumblers, didn't think about those, but magic bands have an absolute
Oh,
stranglehold on me.
Oh, dang.
And
yeah.
those are ones where I never really regret them. Even the ones I don't like as much as some of the other ones, I'm like, yeah, still pretty
Magic
cool.
band.
And
I
there
get to
you can use them.
accessorize.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I didn't even think about that. It's a great one.
I feel like I would have a different idea. Like if I live near the parks, like if I lived like that, I could go to the park every day. I think that I would pick to only have pins because I like love pin trading at the park. Like
Yeah, true.
I love going around and trading. Like I don't really like buying pins, but I like the interaction of like getting a new pin and like find. I think it's almost like thrifting. Like you're like looking
Yeah.
for something cool and like seeing what
Mhm.
you can find. So I think I'd pick that. But as someone who only goes to the parks like, you know, once a year or whatever, approximately, I would pick like other merch because I still like my random like little things and I would miss a lot of it. Okay, thanks for answering my question, guys.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
that was a good one. Yeah.
Who's next?
You want to stay over there, Brandon? You want to go?
Sure,
Brandon,
I
you
got
have
this. So this one I think is more focused to Haley and Tommy because I'm very curious of this one. And this is you're still spending your cash, so it's not that you just get to pick one for free.
Okay.
But in terms of food, Haley and Tommy are big foodies, and I've
Yes,
always
we
wanted
are.
to know this. If you could like only buy a certain category of food and you're spending your own money, would you only ever buy quick service food, which is
Mhm.
again would be, I guess, like a Casey's Corner, Woody's Lunchbox, things that are quick service food? or table service food, which is anything that's like at a resort, if it's like a restaurant or like a sit down restaurant, those kind of things, because I know that you guys love that kind of stuff. So you're spending your own money for your lifetime.
I have
on
a
the quick
clarifying
service or
question.
table. Yeah.
Festival booths, do they count as one of them, or they're just like a snack cart? So it doesn't count.
Maybe that's like a snack cart. So that would kind
Okay,
of
so it
be, I
doesn't count.
guess.
So those we still get in either category.
I feel like
I don't know. I think you're being a little bit too generous there.
Maybe-
Brandon.
No
I think
way.
you gotta-
I think-
I think you gotta
I
tighten
think
the
that those
belt
are
a
quick
bit.
service. Those are quick
They are
Those
service.
are quick.
service. They
Oh, then I'm
absolutely
going
are
quick service.
Yeah.
Then I have to choose quick service because
Interesting.
where we eat, I mean, there's a festival going on at Epcot 90% of the time.
True.
And I think that when that happens, I mean, we like take the monorail or the Skyliner over to Epcot just to eat and then we'll leave. So I think if the food booths weren't included, I would pick sit down restaurant, but I have to go with the quick service because I can't get rid of the food booths.
Love it.
They have the most changing food.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I love the sit down, especially because it sort of offers such a nice break from the hustle and bustle of a park day. You get to sit in some air conditioning and drink some lemon water and eat your meal and take a load off. But the variety in the quick service and even outside of the festival booths, I think that the more unique and sort of fun and interesting items tend to land with the quick service locations opposed to sit down, which a lot of times is really good, high quality food, but it's also stuff that you could just, drive in town and get something similar. So I would probably, go quick service as well, but that one's a toughie.
I know.
There you
Heidi,
go.
where are you
Well,
going?
Those booths also
Yeah.
really threw up like a wrinkle in.
I know.
Mhm.
Good for you, Haley.
Yeah.
I should have just kept my mouth shut and kept both.
Quick service because I don't really like to sit down.
You're- But you're also picky eater, and
Yeah.
you're very frugal with your food purchases.
I'm frugal with my food purchases because
True.
I'm not a foodie. Like I don't sit down and go like, oh my God, this is the greatest day of my life. I had this like exceptional meal. So I just can't relate. Like I can't relate. So I'm sorry to all the foodies out there.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say that this is me. I'm gonna be like in the middle, and I have Heidi on this side going, "Come on to quick service," and then I have Haley and Tommy going, "Sit down, come over here."
Eat this like octopus or duck with us. Yeah.
Like I think that I'm kind of in the middle where I could be swayed either way. That I would love to like explore more sit down
You're
things,
also
and
really
when I
easily swayed. So like I feel like if I was the opposite, then we would be like going to like the most
we'd
expensive
be going,
restaurants all the time.
wow, this is
Wow,
so
we love
delicious."
you.
But I think that I'm kind of more like in the middle. But I think that I've got to do quick service. I just thought that it was like an interesting question because I think that
Yeah.
we're very different than you guys, where we don't
Mhm.
really expand our palate. I think that you guys help us in a way
Yep.
more expand, which we touched on like a
Well,
few
we
episodes
try to
ago.
help Heidi.
Yeah.
Me.
She
yes,
knows
me.
what she likes.
Maybe
the girl
when I'm
knows what she
older.
wants
Well, maybe
When
when,
you're
I'm
older.
older.
when you grow up.
Yeah.
But I just think that it was interesting because I think that people kind of sometimes like, I don't know, like what it is with quick service. I know that like there's not many options, but like you guys said, I think that you can find some hidden gems and things kind of cycle like through more where there's new things. So I just thought that it was kind of an interesting
And
question.
like you said, those seasonal offerings are always at quick service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
True.
I think people get lured in by like the bigger quick service establishments, and they're like, "Yeah, like I had
Like Cosmic
I had a
Rays.
mediocre hamburger. Like this
Yeah.
is not fun." Where if you have to do that sort of little extra layer of research and
You have to watch
find
our
out what-
vlogs. And then you can figure out where to eat.
what locations have the good food, because I think it's a totally reasonable expectation to be like, I should be able to walk into any given quick service restaurant and get something like cool and fun. And sometimes people aren't
Mhm.
looking for cool and fun, but I think that the menus can sometimes be underwhelming, but that's really just a product of having places there to cater
Service
to the masses.
yes.
And those are like by nature the biggest sort of establishments with the most seating.
You can get your
and-
chicken tenders and french fries anywhere.
Yeah,
a
exactly.
mediocre hamburger anywhere.
Yeah, but there is way more out there, but it's sometimes off the beaten path as much as it can be.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. You guys had good ones over there.
I also wanted to add something that's like an experience with food that I'll just like laugh at here with quick service is I'll never forget when the three of us went to Magic Kingdom and all of the new Little Mermaid snacks came out and we got every single one. and someone said to us, "Oh, do you guys love that movie?" And it's like, "Mm-mm, we
No.
just-"
No, just new food.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it's so funny because like if you as listeners don't know us very well, Brandon and I tend to sway in similar paths, and then Heidi and Tommy end up swaying in similar paths. And so like how Heidi said Brandon is easily, that's me. I'm easily influenced. Like it was like a bright purple ice cream on like like a metallic cone, and I was like, I'll get it. I think Brandon was holding one drink. I had another. I
You
had
were
an
like-
ice cream, and then Tommy had
Yeah,
something
double
else.
fisting
They're all
like a-
melting.
It's all
a
melting.
They're
Little
all
Mermaid
melting in
milkshake
the
and ice
hot
cream,
Florida
yeah,
sun.
Yeah.
So
But
Great
no,
to see.
yeah, but that's so funny. I totally forgot about all the mermaids.
Unreal.
Oh gosh, I can go next
Yeah, I
because
was
I
gonna say, Haley,
had.
you have a would you rather for
I
us?
do. It's kind of similar, but you don't have to use your own money. So it's two choices.
I like
You
that.
can either have a free annual pass for life,
Ooh.
or you can stay at any moderate Disney hotel for life, but you have to pay for the tickets. So one, you'd have to pay for your hotel room, but you get the tickets for free, and the other, you would have to pay for the tickets, but you would get your hotel room for free. But only moderate resorts.
I know mine.
Go ahead.
I'm going annual pass. And only because like annual pass for us, we have to get like the expensive one, which I know that like you guys do too, right? Like you can't
Yep,
get
yeah,
the
because
cheaper one?
well, it's the same price.
Yeah.
Florida residents just get a payment plan,
Yeah, you get to
Oh,
pay in
gotcha.
installments instead of in one lump
but you end
sum
up paying the
upon
same,
purchase. But
like
it's the same, it's the same
$1,600 or whatever
nominal
it is.
amount. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if because again, maybe I'm in my head thinking of the cost is like I'm sure that the cost of staying at a resort potentially
Would be more.
would be more, but I think I could go more often potentially and find a cheaper resort, which I'm fine to stay at a value and
Mhm.
maybe stay off property, like or other things where maybe we'd be able to go more
More
often.
often.
I don't know if that in my head makes any sense. I could be totally overvaluing the annual pass thing, but I just think that we're okay staying at a a
Yeah.
cheapie.
I feel like
I don't know.
I would pick the same only because, like you said, of the going more often. Like then you can go like for like a weekend, and I feel like it's easier to.
But
But I guess
maybe
it-
because I guess then you could just go every time and stay at a hotel for free if you wanted to. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's a tough one, Haley. You got us thinking. I would love to crunch the numbers on that.
Yeah, actually run the
Yeah.
specs on it.
Yeah. Put together.
But I'm
a
going to say
spreadsheet.
annual pass, I think, for me, because then I get a discount on stuff as well.
That's true. 20% off merch.
Ooh. True. I'm just gonna say my gut instinct was annual pass, so I'll just say that.
Son?
I think I'm going moderate resorts. I think in my old age, I've been slowing down a little bit, and the parks are taking a much heavier toll on primarily my feet mostly. But I've also had really, really great experiences at moderate resorts recently, namely Coronado Springs. So, I mean, I would be totally game to, even spend a couple days at the resort and not buy park tickets and not go in at all. So I would have to go that way. But it is definitely tough. And living there, I mean, the annual pass was unbeatable. But I think now that we're sort of taking the trip in, I think I could see myself going down the water slide, for a few days.
So I'm moderate resort all the way. And I think maybe it's because we've purchased annual passes before. So like we know like the expenditure there. And I think that if we had the opportunity to buy our own annual pass, but then go and stay for free, like sometimes we drove 2.5 hours home just to save
True.
the $200
Yeah.
to $250 it would have been for a hotel room.
That's
And so I
true.
think that we would end up going more often and like cutting corners spending elsewhere so that you could like purchase your own annual pass. But I think that you can't, like, I think that we would cancel trips if we had to stay over and they were too expensive, but we wouldn't not get an annual pass. If
Yeah.
that makes
That
sense.
makes sense. Yeah.
I was going to say that clearly I'm horrible with like the
Trying
money
to guess.
valuation because I said that the animatronics $1 billion and clearly that resorts
Or
like would be
obviously.
more worth it for the money because if it is like
Can you-
$250 a
Can
night.
you choose? I thought the question: can you choose any moderate resort
Yeah.
at any
Any
time?
moderate resort.
but like not one.
No, you can stay at any of
stay
the
at
moderate
Coronado,
resorts.
you
You
could
could stay
go
at
stay
Coronado,
at
you could stay
Caribbean
at
Beach.
Pop.
I'll change my answer then.
Well, I guess
because
Pop's
I
fine,
thought the initial one was like you had to pick one and then you could only stay at that moderate.
No, you can
resort.
stay at any moderate resort on property, but
That's a good
no
one.
deluxe and no value.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll change my answer then. Because as you guys were talking with like the math, it does make more sense too. Because then, like, if you go, you could just stay at the resort or could do like other things in Florida, which
Yeah.
is nice.
And I think that like resort prices, like staying at hotels, they just keeps climbing. Like every
Yeah,
time
yeah.
I look to stay somewhere, I'm like, not worth it. Like we'll just come home.
Yeah.
Clearly, I don't know the cost of things, so I'm horrible at that.
But yeah,
Just
we
swipe
only
the
go on
card,
our one
Brendan.
trip- we only go on our one trip and stay at the same hotel every time. So how will we know?
but no, I mean, if you're looking to park till you drop, those day tickets run you what, like $189 sometimes.
But that's why
That's
the annual
true.
pass that you just pay for it
That's what
yourself.
I'm saying. I think it's a close one. I think that it's
Okay, well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna stick annual pass.
We'll stick it in that. Oh, I'm changing my answer based on Haley and Tommy, and then you can just buy an annual pass if you want.
I'm not buying yours. I got my own.
Well, then you can't stay in Heidi's hotel room.
Yeah, then I'll stay in my hotel and you can go.
You can pay for yours.
Can I come stay with you guys?
No,
No.
always.
Thanks.
No, the squad sleepovers are the best
The
sleepovers.
best,
Yeah.
seriously.
All right, you got one for us?
Yeah, I have one. I'm trying to decide. I have some that I don't think are as good.
Just-
but I'm gonna do the one that I think is a toughie, at least for me personally. And this is a little bit of like a 2-on-2. So it would be you can only ride 2 of these. The other 2 are gone. You're forbidden. Cosmic Rewind and Seven Dwarves Mine Train, or Flight of Passage and Rise of the Resistance. So you pick 2, and the other 2 you cannot do.
That's so hard.
Pitting Heidi
Wow.
against
Yeah.
herself here.
Yeah,
I tried to pick the 4 sort of premier rides from each park, and
Yeah.
then in my
Ugh.
brain sort it 1 through 4, pair 1 with 4, 2 with 3,
Mhm.
and pit
You
them
need a
against
moment?
each other. I think it's tough. Yeah, I think it's hard.
I got mine.
Mine,
Oh,
well,
Oh yeah, off the
obviously.
rip. All right.
Yeah, like
You
I
want to
think
see
for
them.
me, even though like I think like arguably of the 4 that Mine Train's the worst one, in my opinion,
Yeah,
potentially.
I agree.
I think Cosmic Rewind for me is by far the best one. And clearly I proved that because on my college program, I nearly rode it every single day. So I would be so sad if I could never ride it. Whereas I wouldn't be that sad if I couldn't do Rise or Flight of Passage. I would
You
be
used to not
sad.
even do Flight of Passage.
Yeah, like, and I was okay because I thought that I was too tall to ride it, and now
Oh, yeah. We
I've learned that I
Squeezed your
can.
legs right in there.
we
got
Put
you.
you in there.
So I think for me, like if I couldn't do Guardians specifically, I'd be so sad. And I'll toss in Mine Train that I'll ride it, but Guardians, like to me, trumps. I think this one's harder for you, Heidi.
This one's
Easily
harder for me
harder.
because it's like Flight of Passage is like my favorite ride, but then like Guardians is like right there and it's like the best ride. And like both of them I have like an exceptional time on them. For me, like if I didn't have to ride Mine Train or Rise, I would be like fine with. It's like between these 2.
That's tough.
But
But
I-
1v1 instead of 2v2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna pick that I would, if I can only like I'm going like this. If I had the opportunity to go to Disney World right now and only ride one ride, which one would I choose? And I would choose Flight of Passage. So
Nice.
I'm
Good
gonna
for
stick
you.
to my truth.
I
Your
thought you were
Navi
gonna
heart.
go.
Stick to that Navi
Yeah,
heart, Heidi.
Exactly.
I'm also going Flight of Passage and Rise
Wow.
of the Resistance because I think that I would ride Flight of Passage over and over and over and over and over again. Like I think I would get out of line and get back on. And I don't know that Guardians does the same thing for me every single time. I think like I
Wow.
love the ride, but I think that like there's something new to look at every single time you ride Avatar.
Yeah.
But I think when you get on Guardians, it's kind of like, oh, we did this just 2 minutes ago, and then you do it again. And it is fun every time. Like we proved that like going so
Yeah,
many times.
Clearly, yeah.
But I think that
Too
that's
many
where I'm going.
times.
And like I think the size of Rise of the Resistance is just like jaw dropping. I think it's
that's true.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in a previous episode of this podcast, I talked about how Rise of the Resistance, I, always underrate whenever I'm off of it. And Flight of Passage isn't to the same extent, but I do think that I sometimes forget how great it is until I'm on there. And to Haley's point, there's always something to look at. I forgot to say, I'm going this way as well. There's always something to look at. Like when the ride starts, I just stare at the big gas planet out in the distance for like, I don't know, 30 seconds. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. So yeah, I think missing Cosmic Rewind, and it is kind of 2 coasters versus non-coasters, and I tend to prefer coasters. So losing, 2 pretty strong coasters and 1 like phenomenal ride and coaster is definitely tough. But I think that I just get more mileage out of Flight of Passage and Rise of the Resistance. And I just don't want to be dragged down by Minecart as much.
Yeah,
Definitely
I don't
the
like
weak link
Mine
of the
Train
4.
is
Yeah.
meh.
I
Too
also want to
sweet.
kind of toss this in here because, well, like now that I have to ride this alone forever on Cosmic Rewind, people love
Oh,
one song,
okay.
and I'm gonna spit a hot take here
Oh,
because I
yes.
just got to get it off my chest. Everybody wants to rule the world on that ride. Stinks,
It's
and I
not
and
a
I
bad song.
and I understand if people like it, but I've seen too much love online lately that I just can't stand it, and I will not stand that. If any song can go, it is that one, and I
also
apologize.
wonder-
I apologize if I offend anyone, but that's just
I don't
just
apologize
have
at
to
all.
No,
share
me
it.
neither.
I also wonder though how many people are saying that and haven't actually got every like song
The
and
actual good
also-
songs.
Yeah, and also like actually like have you written it once and you got Everybody Wants to Rule the World, or have you written it 4 times and got Everybody Wants to Rule the World as your first time and you haven't gotten other songs? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would love to know, because I think sometimes people like to give their 2 cents without actually experiencing all of them.
I have
So-
my like I want to say
I'd love to
that
know.
that getting this song is like the Shaman and Kylo not working on Na'vi.
Yes,
Yes.
it
Really, it's
slows the
so-
whole ride
Yeah,
down.
I meant to say that it is super song dependent, my enjoyment of Cosmic Rewind. And
Yeah.
yeah, that one is bad. And some of them I think are very middling. For me, if I
Yeah.
don't get Iran or September, the
Yeah.
ride is not
We haven't gotten
peak
Gloria,
enjoyment.
Good
The
one.
the Conga by
one.
Gloria
No, we
yet,
have not.
but
But sorry, there's
Wait,
my
you
hot
haven't
take.
gotten Conga either?
No, they
Nope.
haven't.
Me
Neither of you.
neither.
I
Neither
know.
of you.
Yeah.
Next time we go, we all need to get
Or
it.
Conga Chase.
Haley,
Oh.
if
Conga
like,
Hunters.
if you come down at all,
Oh, when
Haley,
I spend my 2 weeks in Disney this summer.
we're going every day.
Yeah, if you get Conga, I'm gonna throw a fit.
Yeah, I will be.
But what if it
sad.
stinks? Like, what if I don't like it?
Then I won't throw a
I don't
fit.
Okay,
It
then I'll
doesn't.
just tell you
You'll
it's
like
Me and you will be like this.
That's so dirty.
We'll be dancing together in the car. together.
Audio only listeners can't see it, but
Brandon
is
is- yeah.
congaing on us right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it stinks. That song stinks. It's like it throws it into a different universe where like you just like it's like you get put in slow-mo in the ride. Like
And your body just goes-
everything moves slower.
Which again, I just like this isn't a slander pod, but I just
People are gonna
want to-
cancel
I'll
us.
slander
We're
that, yeah, I'll
canceled.
slander
That's
that
okay. I just
somehow.
want to bring it up because we're talking about it here. I'm sure
No,
we'll get to it
I'm
eventually.
glad you mentioned it. It needed to be said.
And the
Nobody's
whole
saying
squad
it, we're-
agrees.
We'll say it.
So
Yeah, the squad.
the
if all 4
squad.
of us agree, then
Yeah.
It's a
chances
Squad
of it being
stamp of
wrong are
approval.
slim.
unanimous squad decision.
Mhm.
There we go.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Are
So
we doing
yeah,
round
that was
two?
good. I think we can,
Do-
wrap back around, do one more round maybe
Sure.
for the 4 of us. And
I'm
then
enjoying it.
Call it
Me
a
too.
pod. Yeah. So Heidi, if you want to
Okay.
go for number 2?
Yes. So these ones have to do with being stuck somewhere. So would you rather, this is going to be a full day experience where you are stuck in this area and something's going to repeat and there's going to be people around you who will also be there. So the options are, would you rather be stuck in that initial first room in Flight of Passage with the scientist speaking to you and picking your avatar, and everything's going to happen and it's going to keep repeating and you're going to have the exact amount of people in that room. You could be stuck there all day. Or the second option is Guardians of the Galaxy, the first pre-show room, and everyone's going to be in there and it's going to be like the full amount of people, and every single time that guy asks about
What do they call themselves?
Yeah, someone's going to say something like drunks or
Drunks.
yeah, every time. And that's going to go for 24 hours.
Oh man.
I am
Which one would you rather?
There's literally tears coming down. This is so funny to me.
I love that it's just choose your Disney purgatory. That's very
Yeah.
funny.
And a whole 24 hours, not even like a park day. You're stuck there
No.
all day.
Yeah, you're locked in and they're saying it's 24 hours, sorry guys, but we can't figure out, and you're stuck there and you can't. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't even know. Wow. I'm just picturing the like of all the air hitting on Flight of Passage, and I don't know. The Guardians like pre-show Q stuff stinks also. Like I don't know. That whole experience of like I guess that in this one people aren't like sprinting and pushing
Yeah,
me
thank
over.
goodness everyone's not just running towards
Yeah,
the doors.
that's the worst
Yeah.
part
You'll
of the
get
second-
trampled
and the second-
every
the
3
sec-
minutes
the
for
second-
24 hours.
Yeah, the second
I
one
have
is
to
good,
listen
it's
to
been
Glenn
ruined, yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Flight of Passage because even if that doctor is monotone and whatever, the Guardians pre-show is just not for me. That's my final answer.
Mine, I'm doing some heavy thinking here. I think it's a good answer because that's where my initial thought went. But it's separated by railings.
Yep.
You're not laying down. You're not
True.
sitting. You're not laying down. There's less people though, which is a
Mhm.
huge sell. I think Heidi putting the audience participation in there at Guardians really knocked it
Huge.
down a
That's a huge
peg.
factor.
Easily.
You've
Oh
just
yeah.
got a man who is perpetually drunk because he's been around the world already at Epcot, screaming at what's his name?
Terry
the Old
Crews.
Spice
Terry
man. Oh
Crews,
yeah. But I think that I'm also gonna go Pandora just because of the less amount of people.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm going Flight of Passage as well. I found the Terry Crews humor in the Guardians one like pretty charming on the first go round.
First
Like
time.
it's like corny jokes, like yeah, the audience participation is like all right, whatever. But it has really become grating to me. And I don't find it funny anymore. Where with the Flight of Passage intro, when the doctor goes and fly, it's like the weirdest, most awkward timing ever, and it makes me laugh every single time. I unironically find it very funny. I'm sure that would eventually get old, but between that and seeing what avatar, what Navi body you end up with, I
Mhm.
think there's a little
You
bit
could
of variety
stand on a
there.
different number.
Yeah, there's a
every
little bit of
time.
variety, and that one line read from that actor. So I'm gonna go Flight of Passage, but the crowd participation would make that really, really
I
tough.
also can't believe that Disney hasn't put the cast member to say, like how they do in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway
Yeah.
Railway,
I agree.
that they say like they call themselves like whatever,
Yeah.
or like you're
Yeah.
on. When he goes, I'm on, it's
Yeah.
like to nobody. Like just have the cast member call it out, and then at least it like makes sense. He's just like listening to someone. But that was such a good question.
is
But if
such a good
people
one.
don't know those pre-rides, they're gonna be like, "What in the world are they talking about?"
Hyper
Yeah.
niche, but that's a good one. Yeah.
It was very niche.
What are you
but I
going?
do- This one's hard because like people raise some good points of like the amount of people in the room,
It's a good
the
one.
kind of like the barrier there in Flight of Passage, and it's like I guess it also depends like who actually is in the room with you, because if you have like fewer people but they're like really annoying, that might be annoying. But like in a bigger room and you had some fun people, maybe you get some games going. But out of initial instinct, I'm gonna pick Flight of Passage only because it's less people, so I feel like you could do like more like kind of like little games and get the day going, even though this thing's blaring at you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Play
Like
some heads up with them.
play some heads up.
I just wanted to add one thing that I think that it would they'll get pretty old if you would go, you've all got them, and then like all the
Yeah,
air, and you would just be like standing there getting blasted. Oh no, I have them again. Like that would be. I think this is a really good one, Heidi.
And too in Guardians, it's like it's carpet. I'm pretty sure the ground.
yeah,
Yeah,
So,
I
like,
it is.
That would be nice to sit on, whereas Flight of Passage isn't. So, but I don't know. I can't
many
choose my
people.
answer. I'm gonna pick Flight of
No.
Passage.
Yeah,
Word.
that's funny. I didn't know. I did not think we were going to be unanimous there.
No,
That
yeah,
is a good one.
but yeah.
Did
I
you
mean,
pick?
for-
Wait, what did you pick?
Like the same Flight of Passage.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The whole squad. Well,
that.
then we take up 4 out of 10 spaces.
That's true.
True. Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
True.
but yeah,
True.
Yeah.
almost half of the.
Yeah,
of
we're
the
almost
spaces.
dominating that room.
Yeah.
So
Whereas in the other one, we're like
Yeah.
crammed in there with everybody. in
Way
Guardians.
stronger of a squad presence in the Flight of
Mhm.
Passage pre
True.
room. Yeah.
I agree. My other like I guess like would you rather here? This is like a squad based one, so all of us are having to like I guess you have
We
to
have to-
picture everybody like doing this with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Would you rather if all of us had to be pirate animatronics in Pirates of the Caribbean, or the bear animatronics in Country Bear Jamboree? So
Like, are we alive?
Well,
you're turned into
you're
I guess one of
sentient.
the animatronics. You're one of the pirates or one of the bears, and all of us are together in the same
Like the same
scene.
the
scene.
same room. Okay.
What do you think would be
That's
either
so-
more funny or more I don't know, more bearable? Because you'd have to I guess,
Bearable.
bearable, yeah.
Very good.
Kind of random one, but I thought it was funny.
I feel like that's hard. I don't really know what the question's asking, but I will pick. I think. Oh wait, but can we all have different answers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I will say pirates.
You'd rather be a pirate than a bear.
Well, I would rather be a bear, but I think as a whole,
That you would
I would
We'd have more
imagine that
fun.
we're pirates, and it would be make more sense. Like that scene where they're like the rum scene.
all of us are standing there with our gift to bring up for auction.
Or like me and Heidi are chasing you guys around like chickens
yeah.
chasing
Yeah.
after us.
Yeah, like, I feel like it's more realistic to be one of those.
Okay.
I don't know.
Makes sense.
I don't know.
I'm going pirates as well. I think that the smells are good. So if I'm
Ooh.
conscious, I'm assuming I can smell in there. I also am not trying to sing all day. I don't think anybody wants that. And I think that if we had like an animatronic but we were ourselves in there, we would have a good old time in some of those rooms in Pirates. But I think as a squad, I think we're stronger as Pirates than we are as Country Bears.
Yeah, I'm going Pirates for the same reason. There's more scene variety in Pirates, so we can get into some shenanigans, have some fun there. And yeah, the Bears got to perform, every 30 minutes or whatever. That's a lot of pressure. I think that
Working.
Pirates, you're a little bit more cut loose, having fun.
Oh yeah.
getting into trouble. So yeah, I would go Pirates, but I don't know,
I'm-
it's Country Bears.
I'm going Bears all day long. I've always wanted to be like a star like that up on the stage for everybody to watch me perform.
Be coming down on the swing.
And I'm gonna be Teddy Burra coming down, and it'll say
With the tutu.
Brandon, and I'll be coming down. And then I also just picture that when the curtains open and it's like Anne Haley, and then
Brandon has already cast all of us.
Yeah, I
What's
just
everyone
think,
else?
I
Am
don't
I
know.
those three little bears? Oh, the guys.
and then I think that Tommy's the one who's playing the banjo with his eyebrows going.
Brandon cast me as liver lips.
Yeah,
No,
No,
Big Al.
Big Al.
Laid out
Oh,
in
it's
the-
Big
You're the-
Al. Yeah, it is.
You're
Big
the
Al.
Or I
iconic
could
one
be the
that
little
people
baby
love.
bear.
I just think that it would be
Sad.
so funny
Oh,
to
that's
have
so
like
funny.
the curtains open and then it's us with instruments.
Are we in bear form or us as animatronic form?
I think we have to be Bears.
Bear
right?
form for
oh,
sure.
that would be funny though.
Yeah, bear
That's
form
hilarious.
squad.
Okay.
Put on a
Oh
t-shirt.
God, that's good.
Yeah, Brandon had a vision of us all as Country Bears and shaped this "Would you rather" around that. that
This
vision.
has been a dream of his for a while.
Yeah.
It's not weird. Don't worry.
Oh,
good
God.
Yeah, I
one.
mean, I'm sure we would kill it up there. so.
Absolutely.
for sure.
Oh my goodness,
That's
that's
too
so funny.
All right.
Next up.
Who's it?
Mine
Yeah.
are much less funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine are
These
so
are-
boring. compared
Yeah,
to
me
that.
too.
That's
No,
much
it's
better.
okay.
Okay, so I'll do another one that was definitely geared at Brandon and Heidi a little bit. I think it's going to
Okay.
be tricky for you guys. This one
Mm.
is bring back Enchantment or bring back Harmonious. You can only bring back one.
Oh.
Yeah, this is
That is
tough.
tough.
So for people that don't know, again, like you're hearing that and going enchantment. I love the song "You Are the Magic." I think that people like who don't like that show don't understand the meaning of that song, and I think that it was like directed. No, like I do, because I think
You
that
guys just
online.
don't get
don't
it.
like that show. Don't know the meaning.
No, because I think that people like
Call them out,
online.
call them out.
Because I think that it like encompass that like everybody who comes here,
Yes.
you're the magic that makes Disney what it is. And I think as a like consumer going to Disney, like you do feel that magic when you're there. And I think them taking the spin on that, like you guys coming here are the magic that keeps this place what it is, I think was really cool. I think that like the show specifically Happily Ever After is probably a better encompassed show, but I like the song better. And I did love when they did that touch of like the Walt and Mickey stuff like at the beginning after they like revised it.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, we love Harmonious. I love when all of us do it together.
Yeah.
And I love those moments of us, whether it was us and like Alyssa and Garrett doing it, and just all those moments like of this show. I think it's so Epcot, and I'm so sad that it's gone. And I would love if it came back and leave those barges in the lagoon.
Yeah, stop, Mike. I agree. I like both, but Harmonious to me is like so just amazing. And I think for me, it's like just that one kind of night where like we like hung out with you guys and Alyssa and Garrett. Like that was so fun and like just like one of the best days ever.
Made a good moment.
And I feel like I always just link it towards that. So I think that I would pick Harmonious.
It's
Yeah.
tough though, because
It
I
is
do
tough.
love Enchantment. And it was special to us, I think, Enchantment, because like we got engaged and it was like we saw that there.
And it was like after
And
COVID.
it was after
and it was saying
COVID.
like, you're the magic. And I'm like,
Yeah, it was good.
love it.
We are the
But-
magic.
We are, you're right, we
and
are.
they say you've traveled from so far, and,
And
you're
it's like, we
"I
came from
have
Canada, we
traveled."
have.
I did.
Yeah,
I
they're
did.
talking about us.
That's me.
So that's why. But yeah, both are great.
Yeah, it's Harmonious for me for sure. Like we talked about, we love the barges. I think the barges add such a unique element, and they do so much with them. Where with Enchantment, I feel like Magic Kingdom fireworks show projection, like castle shows, are all, some are better than others. Some people have favorites, but I think they're all roughly replacement level. Where it's just at a certain extent, it's a matter of preference, which is obviously fine. Where I think Harmonious is doing unique and interesting stuff. It's incorporating sort of the multicultural aspect of the World Showcase,
Mhm.
as well as displaying IP and tying it back to the Disney properties that we're all obviously so fond of. So yeah, big Harmonious stand. That one's an easy one for me, but I think I only saw Enchantment like one time. So
Yeah, I'm in the same boat where I'm not like a huge, and this is probably a hot take, I'm not a huge Magic Kingdom nighttime spectacular viewer. I think it's like we always opt to go on rides or leave before the crowd, like the rush hits. But Harmonious, I think it was like a perfect nighttime spectacular.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that, like you said, like it brought together the multicultural and the IP of Epcot, which is exactly what Epcot is now. And I think it brought it all together. It had different people and different voices. I think that it had the different languages. I thought the music was just amazing. And the fireworks, like you can't do a ton with fireworks at Epcot. So you needed like the barges to project. And people complaining about the view, you can literally walk a half a mile and see it up close. You don't need to look at it across the lagoon. It
yeah,
just like
it's right there.
it's so
Mm.
crazy to me that was such like a big point of contention that these barges ruined our view of Epcot. I'm like, what? Leave them alone. So
These are-
obviously I'm going Harmonious, and people are going to hate me for that. But for my
Wow.
old crotchety, leave the barges.
I was gonna say that these mics are hot today. We're spitting
yeah.
some fire today, and these
The
are all
gloves are
kind of.
off.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I love it.
Someone's got to say it.
We'll be the ones to do it.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
so that's my take. All
Yeah,
right, you
that's a
got
good one.
one
Yeah.
more to finish it up.
Yeah, I
We
have
should have
one
ended with
more.
your guys. Your guys were way better.
I was
than
gonna
ours.
say honestly,
It's
I
okay.
will
I'm loving it.
defer
Yeah, you guys got another
back
good
to
one.
Brandon and Heidi and see. Yeah, do you have some that you like? Because I don't feel strongly about mine. So I think if you have some that you think are fun or interesting,
No, we were grasping
Let's-
at straws over
yeah,
here.
let's
Okay.
roll with those.
I
and
have
then we
one.
can-
Okay.
Whenever we're done, we can.
I
follow
had
up.
one written here, but after some discussion, I think that it's too clear what people would choose. So I'm going from one that I read online. These other ones I didn't read online. I will preface I made the other
Made
ones
them
up
up.
from my head.
Those are
It could
Heidi
be
originals.
It could be online, but this one I saw online and I thought it's a good one. So why don't we end up with this one? This is about where you want to be stuck overnight.
Okay.
And the ride, well, I guess the ride can't be going. I don't know. You can interpret it how you want. Being stuck overnight either in Haunted Mansion or Tower of Terror. And I'll say alone.
Yeah,
Alone.
right.
All
Alone.
right.
Neither.
You got to pick
Yeah,
from
Me and Brandon, spooky, scaredy cats
okay,
over
you can
here.
either be alone or Haley and Tommy. I mean, sorry, not Haley and Tommy. Haley and Brandon, you guys can be together.
Oh, perfect. Much better.
So yeah, which one are you picking? And it's going to be from like 8 p.m. until 8 a.m. We'll do that.
I'm gonna pick Tower of Terror because I'm not afraid of animatronics, but I think overnight I would be, and I know that I probably like I'm sure that I could stay like in one room, but I think also like the voice that comes on in Haunted Mansion is a little bit spooky, and if I was like asleep, like and it came on and was like welcome, I'd be like, oh my
Foolish
gosh, like
mortals.
it would be too much for me. And I think that Tower has like a little charm. It is a hotel. I'm sure they got nice rooms in there.
You have to sleep in the
Good point.
boiler
That's a good
room.
point.
Yeah, the boiler room. Yeah, this one's hard. I'm a big scaredy cat. I don't like scary things, and the thought of even sleeping anywhere, like I could sleep in like Country Bear Jamboree and be scared, or something that's like nice and happy, and I would be afraid. But these are like the two like objectively scariest things. But I'm gonna pick Tower of Terror. What about you guys?
I'm going Haunted Mansion just because I think there's more. I think it's again like a duration play, like a boredom play, where
True.
I think that like if the track wasn't going, I could like walk through the graveyard and look at all the stuff. Where really Tower of Terror is that like the reception room. And then the boiler room, which I despise. I hate the boiler room. It makes me like so irrationally mad when I have to be down there. It's like kind of hot, even though I'm sure it's the same temperature as upstairs is, but
Yeah.
it like feels warmer. It's like musty. It just like is not for me. And so I think that Haunted Mansion, you can do a little more exploring. And I think that there's like some cool stuff to be seen in there. So I'm going Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Haunted Mansion as well. I am kind of almost the opposite reason of Brandon. While I'm also not afraid of animatronics, I almost think that it would provide like a little bit of company. Like, oh yeah, like I had to stay at in a amusement park overnight. You know,
Me and Madame Leota had a sleepover.
yeah, or like the singing heads and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, it was just me and the singing heads. You know what to expect. They're doing stuff where I feel like large portions of the Tower of Terror is like pitch black or very, very dark. where that whole time you'd be like, well, maybe there is a spooky ghost in here with me.
A real ghost.
Yeah, a real spooky ghost. Yeah.
Brandon's never gonna get on Tower Terror again.
Where in Haunted Mansion, it's just the friendly spooky ghosts, except for the murderous bride. But I would steer clear of her.
Oh yeah, she
But
is. She's
she's
so
very-
scary.
She's spooky.
I'm-
But the rest
What's
of
her
them are
name?
fun.
Constance.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
rest of them are fun.
I want to say that I'm not moving as well. That's why that I picked after. I'm staying right where I am and not moving. Like Haley, you're ambitious to walk around. Girl, I'm
Brandon's
not.
just setting up camp and going to sleep until somebody comes and opens the door the
In
next
a
day.
corner, going like this. Not doing it.
Heidi, what are you doing?
I'm picking Tower because actually, like for me, Haunted Mansion, I actually get scared of. Like personally, like all the things where they're like
The hallway
banging,
knocking is
and whenever
scary.
I hate a lot of times when we're on that ride, I don't like the ride stops and they'll be like, oh, they have a problem or something. They say something on the thing, and then I low-key like get scared. And then being with you, who's like, oh, like you don't like you're
Giving
scared,
off
then, like,
nervous energy.
yeah, I'm
I'm
just
not scared of Haunted Mansion.
I know, but like I'm like if there was like a situation, like I just feel like you would be scared. And it
Brandon would
scares
never
me.
defend you. He's in the corner.
Heidi's like,
Heidi.
chivalry's dead over here. There's no way
Using
this
Heidi
guy.
as a shield.
That's how I feel. So I just
Wow,
Goodness.
thanks a lot.
no, and then being like, but and also I think it's after a long park day. Like we usually ride that at the very end of the day, and I'm like tired and like a bit out of it, and then I'm like, it's like cool in here and kind of scary. So like I'm picking Tower because at least
Oh,
there's no like
goodness.
animatronics and the voices, but like it's spooky in there. But I'm picking Tower.
Nice. Good one, Heidi.
Oh
Thanks.
gosh, that was a good one.
Yeah, definitely the lesser of two spookies. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thanks everyone for being part of the squad today. Please share your thoughts about Epic Universe or some of our choices in the Would You Rather in the comments below, especially if you're on YouTube. I think you can leave in the reviews on Apple.
Mhm.
Speaking of which, come join the squad on the different locations. You can find us on Instagram at the Squad Pod on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube.
The Park
Subscribe.
Squad Pod.
Yeah, the Park Squad Pod. Sorry, the Park Squad Pod.
We
Across
are
all
the
those.
Squad Pod,
We are the
but you
Squad
have
Pod.
to find us on the Park Squad
yeah,
Pod.
the Park Squad
It
Pod.
didn't even process me.
We
I'm
do
like,
this.
yeah,
No,
Park
we
Squad.
just call it the Squad
The
so
Squad,
often.
yeah. So yeah, the Park Squad Pod, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Instagram. Hang out with us there. Feel free to, like I said, if you're subscribed and you leave a 5-star review, you can yell at us all you want. That's part of it.
Yeah.
That you buy your entry fee to tell us that we're wrong and that
The hot takes
it
go
didn't
both
actually
ways.
cost $1 billion, or I got the square footage all wrong. Any of those things, you can share your hot takes, but only if you're subscribed. So yeah, join us next week for episode 5, and till then, see you, squad.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.